authenticity.
What's up? Welcome back to What's Up Wednesdays at the Well. We welcome you today, and we just want to give you a recap from last week. We would like to thank Minister Shalonda Bentley for coming on, talking about children honor and obey your parents. And as I got an opportunity to just delve back in a little bit on that topic, the Spirit of the Lord just reflected back in Genesis where it talked about Adam and Eve being disobedient to God. And God is our Father, and we need to understand that there are consequences to our actions when we are not obedient. So we just want to just thank her again for coming and reflecting on children. Honor and obey your parents. Well, today on our vacation virtual Bible school lesson, we will be talking about what is your vision. This is a subject that is very passionate for me because I'm a business owner myself, and to be able to reflect back over where I have come in 25 years, wow, that seems like a mighty, mighty long time. But I did it through the grace of God. And without God being at the helm of anything that you do, I mean, you're going to go through some stumbling blocks, but God will make those stumbling blocks your stepping stone. And I am a witness to that. So today, we will be tackling what is your vision. And we will be coming from Habakkuk. Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 2 through 3. And it reads, "And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tablets, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it may tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." Just to look a little bit at the book of Habakkuk, for our seasoned scholars out there, Habakkuk is the 8th book of the 12 minor prophets, which include Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi. Of course, Habakkuk is the author of this book. It was written around 607 BC. And just to give you a little overview, Habakkuk was a prophet to the southern kingdom of Judah just before the exile, when their unrepentant sinfulness was at its height. The book is an interesting dialogue between Habakkuk and the Lord about the evil he sees around him. He expresses to the Lord about how Judah has turned away from his commandments and wonders why there is no justice in the land. If we go back to the first chapter, where we see Habakkuk questions God. How long will you let us suffer? How long will you take us through this? And I got to wondering, why would Habakkuk be so assured of himself that he would put himself in a position where he felt confident enough to question God? And I'm not certain of this, but in some of my reading, and this is only in my synopsis, in the Jewish Bible, Habakkuk is said to have been the Shunammite son. This is amazing, because if you were with us on Sunday, you know that Pastor Dumas preached about the Shunammite woman. And the Shunammite woman, we can reflect back in 2 Kings, the 4th chapter, somewhere around the 16th verse, where the Shunammite woman prepares the room for the man of God. And she consults with her husband about this because he's always in town. And preachers, when they preach, they get tired. So she wanted to have a place for him. So her husband consulted to this. And when Elijah came in, he was so grateful for all that the Shunammite woman had done for him that he wanted to do something special for her. And he asked her, what is it that I can do? And she was like, I don't need anything. My husband, he's, wealthy. I'm fine. When he looked around, he saw that there were no toys in the house. There was nothing that symbolized that there was the life of a child there. So he tells her, by this time next year, you will have a son. And somewhere in the Jewish Bible, they think that this son is actually Habakkuk. And Habakkuk, we'll say the Shunammite son, because we don't have, specific account on that. The Shunammite son gets a headache and he dies. And she goes and seeks the man of God, just to give you a quick recap. And when he comes, she puts him up in the prophet's room, and when he comes, he lays on him and he sneezes 7 times, come back to life. So Habakkuk, if he is really the Shunammite woman's son, he knows that God has the power of restoration. So if we look back in this book, and he knows that this county that he's in Judah is going through all this, he knows God's resume. He knows what he's capable of doing if this is true. And so we give an account to him. God comes to him and tell him to write the vision and make it plain upon tablets, that he that reads it can run with it, that it just won't sit there, that it will take action, it will get up, and it will have movement. So the first thing he wanted to do is define vision. What actually is vision? Vision is the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. It's a picture that you put in your mind. And on the spiritual sense, it's something that you can see or dream about, especially as part of a religious or supernatural experience. This vision is something that comes to you. It's something that's embedded in you. There's also another scripture that says that in Jeremiah 29 and 11 that God knows the plans that he has for you. So even before you were created in your womb, he already had a purpose for your life. So we go through life and we think about all the things that it is, going through school, going to college, some of us, going into the military, some of us. Those are the things that we feel will pattern our lives. But is that really what God's purpose is in our lives? So we have to start to research and think about what it is that we need to do for ourselves to become successful. And in doing that, we can unlock 7 keys to what this vision is in our life. The first thing is the vision is revealed to the person that's in a position to listen. So if you are ready to receive what it is that God has for you, then you need to get to your quiet place. You need to turn off all social media, get away from your phone, turn off the television, and have a meditation moment with God so that you can hear what it is that God has planned for your life. 25 years ago, before I got ready to go into college, I had this idea of wanting to be a doctor, and I started to set my goals towards doing that. I went to Morris Brown, got my bachelor's in chemistry, went to Miami, got my master's in biomedical science, and lo and behold, I'm in the midst of planning to go to medical school. And for those of you who know about medical school, there is a test that you have to take that's called the MCAT. And that's one of my least favorite things is taking standardized tests. When it comes to the classroom, I'm a superpower. But it's just something about standardized tests. I'm an analytical thinker. I think it's just me and my mindset. So I really didn't do that well on the MCAT, even though I had 3.XYZ GPA. The MCAT was one of the weeding out processes. So in the midst of that, my sister was a part of the school board, and Dr. Benjamin Brown was also a member. And she told me, if you want to be a doctor, you need to hang around somebody that's already doing what it is that you're seeking to do. So I'm telling you right now, if you have a goal in mind and it's something that you want to do, the first thing you need to do is set yourself in a place of people that's already doing it, because they'll be able to guide you, they'll be able to lead you and tell you. And that's what he did. He poured into my life. And I'm eternally grateful for the stages that Dr. Brown took me through, because that's how I ended up getting into ultrasound. He was an OBGYN, meaning that he was a doctor that delivered babies. And that was something that I was interested in doing, was delivering babies. So in the midst of waiting to go into medical school, he sends me off to ultrasound school. He was like, the more knowledge that you get, all you can do is just add to it. And actually, I had gotten accepted into the Medical College of Georgia's program for ultrasound. And he had just opened 2 offices in Barnesville and in Woodbury. And he called to Medical College of Georgia and said, when you got connections like that, you can just pick up the phone and make phone calls and make stuff happen. And he was like, I need her back quicker than that. She got 2 degrees. She got a master's. I already know that she's capable of doing that. And it took off from there. They sent me to the Institute of Ultrasound Diagnostics in Mobile, Alabama. And what took other people 2 years to complete, I completed in 3 months. And I was the second top student in my class, because he had already trained me. I worked with the sonographer that he had on staff, Miss Susan Buchanan. She is the bomb.com. She taught me everything that I needed. So I went in already knowing. So that's what I'm telling you. You be in a position to receive what it is that God has planned for your life, and it's going to order its own steps. I had no plans for this. It walked with me. I did not walk along with it. And I'll come back and give you some more insight, because the story gets greater from there. The next thing that you have to do when you have a vision, you have to write the vision down. Write the vision and make it plain. You just can't go all out on a humbug. If you're an entrepreneur or seeking to open a business, you just can't go in and say, well, I want to sell cookies. Well, they want to know what kind of cookies. They want to know if they're going to be chocolate chip cookies, if you're going to sell them by the dozen, if you're going to sell them however. You're going to package them, you're going to put them in a store. You got to have a business plan. You got to write it down. You got to make it plain, so that the people that are trying to help you, or who are in a place to help you, they will be able to see plain sight what it is that your goal is. The next thing that you have to do, well, write the vision and make it plain. That goes hand in hand. It has to be plain so that anybody that sees it can understand it. They can grasp it. They know what it is that you're trying to do. You have everything outlined for what your projection is of what you plan to make or what you think that your profits are going to be. It's not something that you go into all humdrum. You have to have a business plan and you have to make it plain. The vision next has to be posted. Once you have written your vision and made it plain, now it's time for you to post it so that everyone connected to it can read it. That's how it goes along with the scriptures. So those who read it can run with it. The best advertisement that you can have is by word of mouth. Your business should speak for itself. That goes back to what it is that I do. My intention is I went in working a 9-to-5 job. And I started out back with Dr. Brown, and an opportunity opened up for me just off of whim. I had gone to the Emory's physician's assistant program because, of course, my first desire was to become a doctor. And so we were in the reception, and a man approached me. He said, when you introduced yourself, you said that you was a sonographer. And I said, yes, sir, I am. I haven't too long finished school. He said, well, I have a friend who has a mobile ultrasound service, and her sonographer is pregnant. She's going to be out for 2 weeks, and she's looking for somebody to come in and fill in. I said, well, I have a job. I mean, I don't know. He said, well, just take my number, and if you're able to do it, give her a call. I didn't know what to do because I had a full 9-to-5 job. So I looked at Dr. Brown as like my godfather because he had done so much for me. And so I went and I sat down and I talked with him. I said, I have this opportunity to go and work in Atlanta for 2 weeks. I can take my 2-week vacation. I'll use up all of my comp time, and I can come back and, I won't have nothing left for the rest of the year. I cannot let this opportunity pass. And he said, well, go and interview for the job. If you get it, then I give you permission to go and do that, and you'll still have your time on the schedule. And I said, so I can go and do this for 2 weeks, and you won't take my time away? He said, yeah. He said, because I put you in this position for you to be great. He said, if this is going to make you greater, then why would I hold you back from that? I mean, I was completely blown away. So I go to Atlanta, get the opportunity to meet with some perinatologists. These are doctors who specialize in women who have problems with their pregnancy. Dr. Boots Taylor and Dr. Page. That was the next level for me, because when I went in for my interview, he said, everything that I see on paper looks good. He said, but can you scan? He said, so I'm turning your resume over, and I'm taking you in here. He said, I need for you to do a full scan for me. I said, okay. So I get the scan in, and he's standing over me. I can't stand it. Many of you know that when you work, it's hard to work when somebody is just standing, hovering over you. But when you know your job, you go in there and you do it. And he walked out the room, and I'm like, oh my God. And once I was done, I did my report, and I'm like, what did I do wrong? He was like, I just told them to hire you because you know what you're doing. I said, wow. So I worked for 2 weeks. I made more up there in 2 weeks than I did in a month on my job there. But I still came back and I went to work. And as I'm working, a month or two passed, and the lady called me back. She said the lady that left for pregnancy is not coming back. I would love to have you in this position, and if you would be willing, the job is yours. So that's how I started commuting from Thomaston to Atlanta every day. And like I said, I'll come back to that because we have some special guests that I need to bring on. We have some entrepreneurs here themselves who I'm sure their way of getting to where they are is just as amazing as some of the things that I have spoken to you. So if you would help me to welcome the creators of the car hops, and I know that they know me personally because I use them all the time, Miss Tamisha Weaver and Mr. Lance Carter. Hi, how are you?
How's it going?
It's going great. Thank you all. I was trying not to take up all the time, but my story.
Let me tell you, and I'm like, can I be quiet? Can I yell? Your story. Let me just first of all say congratulations from maybe 25 years as an entrepreneur.
Thank you.
And then now knowing your story, girl. Favor is not fair.
Right.
Say that.
Well, now that you all are here, introduce yourselves. I think people can tell more about themselves better than I can. So introduce to our Facebook family who you are and give us an insight as to how you got to the car hops.
Okay. Well, I'm Tamisha Weaver. I'm one half of Car Hops Delivery.
And I'm Lance Carter.
So we came together. Brief history of Car Hops Delivery. So we started here in Thomaston, Georgia, with our first location. We're both born. Lance was born and raised in Thomaston. I'm from Thomaston, but I did a lot of traveling in my early years. My mom was in the Navy, so I did travel a lot. However, God brought us back to Thomaston, and since 2019, that's when we launched Car Hops Delivery. Was it back in 2018, maybe? We had started LT Marketing and Design Company, which is LT Brands now. We still have the company. We just work with very select clients.
Right.
And from there, when we were really focused on LT Brands or LT Marketing and Design, we were spending long hours building websites. He was designing logos and designing flyers and business cards, and I was putting together marketing strategies for businesses, and we were both helping businesses to grow. We tell this story all the time, but the fact that we literally worked like 14-hour days.
Right.
Our days are 14 hours long, and coming from larger areas where they already had the other larger national brands of delivery services, we started thinking like, look, we went days. Sometimes we would go all day without eating just because we didn't have the time to stop. We didn't have the time to go get something to eat. At that point, we were actually paying our family members and our friends to either cook or go get us things to bring in there. It was just, the one basic need we have as a human, which is eating.
Right.
That was hard for us to take to get our daily nourishment. Mm-hmm. Which means that, of course, if you're not eating properly, you're not going to be able to perform properly.
Most definitely.
So we had to really try to figure out a way we could solve that issue, which we were going online and trying to find, how could we bring in the DoorDashes, how we could bring in the Uber Eats, how we could bring in another company, somebody who would bring a delivery service down here so that we could eat.
Let me ask you this. How did you know that service would actually work in Thomaston?
Well, because it worked everywhere else that we had lived. We had used the other services everywhere else that we had lived, and coming here, and all there was like the pizza places that would deliver and one Chinese place that would deliver.
Right.
So again, after going and trying to find these services to come here, And we didn't get any replies back from them. They were not interested
Right.
in coming to a small town.
Right. We weren't metros.
Right.
Yeah.
They probably didn't even know we were on the map. They had no clue.
Yeah.
And so we found out just through some research that we could open up our own local restaurant delivery. That was actually a thing. We had no clue.
Wow.
I mean, had no clue, had no even interest in owning, this business, or starting this business. And so we started looking at, the steps, how you can go. Let me say something. Let me just stop here and say this. Anytime you have a thought, have a vision in mind of something that you want to open,
right?
Google is your best friend. YouTube is your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is, how do I start this?
Right.
How do I start that? And there's tons of videos. There's tons of step-by-step of how you can get started. So for anybody who ever says that they don't know where to start with the basic Google search and start with the basic YouTube search.
Right.
So fast forward, after we got the basic stuff, I come from the hotel industry and from the restaurant industry. I worked at 90% of the fast food places here. When I was a teenager, I worked at all of them. In fact, I have worked at all of them. And then Lancer comes from the entertainment industry, and he's a beast with branding and marketing and all of that. So we were like, okay, I'm going to put my hospitality skills and my customer service skills into place. He knows how to make the business look great, and he knows how to get the message out to the people.
Right.
So if we could get the message out to the people and get customers, and then if we could provide a great customer service, we knew we had something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when we started off. Like I said, 2019, and it was September to be exact. And then from there, we grew. We opened up 2 new locations at the same time. March 1st. 2020. That was Pike County and Lamar County.
Oh, okay.
And then this past, about 2 weeks ago, we just opened up Forsyth, Georgia. So Monroe County. So now we have 4 locations, and we're just going to keep growing and going. But to the point, the story is similar when you say that you had no intentions, of going into this direction, but being in a position to where you listen is where we were. We were in the position where we knew that there was a need. We saw that it was actually really doable for us to do it. We put our talents and our skills together. We asked a lot of questions from other people that were already in the business, and then we took off.
Awesome. Another thing is when you do have a vision, you're going to have to overcome some obstacles. So what were some of the bumps in the road that kind of stifled you, or, say, I don't know if this really is what God wants me to do, or I really don't know if it's going to actually work here in Thomaston because, we're not getting the response or that we thought, or getting it as quick as we thought that we should have?
I'll say with us, because we're actually a tech company, and so, behind the website, behind the applications is technology. We had to do a lot of education first.
Right.
So, basically, we had to inform people on how to do these things because it's so new here, But the thing is, we just kept going because we had those days when we first started, when we had 5 orders, when we had 6 orders and so forth. So
I know probably 3 of those are from me.
Yes.
I'm one of the biggest clients.
I promise you. I think I even told you through the messenger. Every time I see your order come through, I just smile because one, you live so close to one of the places that you order from.
Bitchy.
Quite often.
Literally. Look, let me tell you. Let me explain that.
Thank you.
It's not that I'm lazy or anything of that nature. Yes, Big Chicken's right across the street from me. But look, okay. Really, I guess that mentality first came from being in the medical field because I have so many patients that I see. And so it's just so much easier for me just go ahead and tap it in, say what I want to eat. By the time lunch get here, lunch is there.
It's convenient.
It's convenient. But on the mother lives with me. She is she has COPD, so we always want somebody that's there with her. So that's one of the major reasons why we try and use the service a lot, because we try not to leave her. And my daughter's doing hair. My brother, he's out doing X, Y, and Z, you know, with the manly stuff on the outside. So if it's convenient for us, even if it's right across the street, for somebody to run over there, bring it, we can go ahead and feed her or whatever. And I mean, even before y'all, like, use my cousin Rose a lot, so she probably glad that y'all here. I was talking Rose, will you bring my mom something to eat, you know? So
and
it's
we love to
been
help.
a convenience.
And we love to help.
Me.
So our whole thing, like working with the nursing homes and so forth, you know, we saw a need and we fulfilled it. But overall, like, we generally love helping people.
Right.
So it's a service, you know, so we bring food to nursing homes and so forth like that.
You would not believe how many orders from our local nursing homes that we get. And not only from the actual residents there, because they love the fact that they can pick up the phone and call us, place their order, they can pay us cash.
They get to interact as well.
They love it, love it, love it. But then we also get a lot of calls from the family members who live in Atlanta or Griffin or whatever, and they were used to, they would have to come down, do the grocery shopping, or go pick up stuff at Walmart, or, you know, and now they're like, oh my God, I'm thankful that, one, I don't have to, you know, spend the gas money, my time, I have to kind of move things around, move mountains to come down there and take care of mama or daddy, when I have a service down there that does that. And that's the one thing, you know, like Lance would say, we are servants. And this is what we, even through our branding and our marketing company, just to see somebody else's business take off by some information or tools or branding that we were able to give, like, it just means the world to us. So.
Another thing, when we look at vision, you have to realize that if God has a plan, it will manifest in its own time. I know a lot of us came into 2020, and you know, we put 2020 along with vision, and we got hit with coronavirus, and I think they kind of knocked people back. But if you really look back on it, it did allow us to have the vision to where we are today.
True.
They talk about the stimulus checks. They talk about the PPP loan. People, you know, criticize people about getting them and what they were doing with it. But to me, it was opportunity. We would not have had that opportunity if God did not allow our community to be shut down, because people went into their quiet places and their minds had to start stimulating some of the ideas that had been sitting on the back burner, and it had to come to the forefront. And then when this money came into play, the money that you would not have normally been afforded, you couldn't walk into no bank and say, I need $20,000, I need $40,000. So if you did something with that money, you have opened a business, you have stimulated yourself from the 9 to 5 to working for yourself, then I give you kudos for that. You know, and don't allow people to dictate to you or to knock you down because you chose to go out there and get it. And I want you to know that working for yourself is much harder than working for a 9 to 5. I don't know about y'all, but when I don't work, I don't get paid. So I have to go and clock in. People say they want to walk in my shoes. They want to do what I do. Baby, come with me for a week and see if you still have that mindset. I have a cousin, Latanya. She always called me the Oprah of Thomaston. And I mean, at first I'm like, you know, I ain't Oprah. I ain't even on Oprah level. But I got to thinking, Oprah started out just like I did.
Everybody started
you know?
out.
Yeah. And right now, I'm telling you, the only difference between me and Oprah is probably the zeros that she got in her bank account. And I'm striving for that. So call me the Oprah
point, and I truly, truly believe this, and you still have time, even if you find yourself in a situation, that's what I'm about to say. If you find yourself in the same position or worse than you were in this time last year, there's something that you got to do a mindset change. I think right now you need to kind of put yourself in timeout.
Right.
And you do need to figure out what it is. And not only that, not only just try to figure it out, go get help. Go find somebody who you would trade places with and have the conversation and ask those questions. And I say all that to say, you're exactly right. When have we ever had the time and the money to do whatever it is? Look, whatever you want to do, you can get it started for less than $10,000. Less than $10,000. That's a high number because we didn't start with $10,000.
Right.
Way less. So
less for real. So
hello. So and again, so if you got the 10 to 20 to 40, whatever, go find somebody that's going to help you take that seed and grow it to a whole forest, okay? Because there's no reason you should be left behind. This is a great time to be in business, a great time for your freedom.
Well, let me hit you with another boom in my story.
Okay, now.
I did not have anything, and that goes back to when we were talking about the Shootermite woman. And I remember when Pastor Dumas first came to Thomaston, he was at St. Mary's Church, and he preached this same message, and it was from the message about the Shootermite woman, and it was about this time next year. And I was working a 9-to-5 ultrasound, getting paid 8 hours. And he was like, what is it that you want? You work so hard. And, he said, give me a number, give me a figure of what it is that you want to make every week. I'm like, I want to be in the 4 digits every week, 4 to 5 digits every week. He said, you trust and believe that God can do that and it will happen. Well, in the midst of me working in the 9-to-5 for this woman, she had a mobile ultrasound service herself. And that lets you know that God will prepare you, because everything that I had to do for her, I'm doing now for myself. And I was working with this clinic, and I had a student to come in. And I ain't too big on students or whatever the case may be, but it was a friend of one of the clients that I was working with. And the girl was from Cuba. And she was like, you work so hard all the time. You never thought about having your own business? And I was like,
asked you this question.
Yes.
Okay, now.
I said, yeah, I have, but I don't have the money to do that. And she was like, well, what would it take for you to do that? I said, well, I got all these bills. So when the preacher tell you to write down all your bills, find out how the balance and what it is that you owe. That happened to me. She said, write down all your bills, the balance of what you owe, and I will pay it off. I will get a machine, and while we are working, we split everything in half. You pay off what I pay off for you, and when you do that, we are done.
Hold on, wait. We talking about the student that was coming to help.
Let me look over my glasses.
I'm
telling you, Vilma Santos Villaverde from Cuba.
Oh my God.
She is the reason why we started off as First Scan Diagnostics, and she worked with me for several years. We split everything down the middle. And this is how I know that God had a hand in this, because she said, when my daughter graduates, I'm gonna move back to Florida. And when she did that, everything that we were split in half came to me 100-fold.
The steps, though. I love the beauty in the steps.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing but God in my story. And so I give him all of the honor, I give him all of the glory, all of the credit. And, when people, see me giving, You know, it's not about a flashy thing. It's because I know what it is that God has done for me.
True.
And so I have no problem. Everything that I have, I feel like He would give it back to me because I've seen Him do it. You know, it's a song say I've seen Him do it.
Yes.
It's kind of wild because back in 2012, right? Like praying and meditating, like I literally lost all desires for like materials, and I became a minimalist, right? So being in the entertainment industry, I'm up in Atlanta helping people grow their Instagram pages. We're doing assisting in video shoots and photography and so forth. So a lot of the people came to us to for the finishing product, basically, before they went out to market and so forth. But something in my spirit was like, yo, this is not it. You know, so I had to come back to Thomaston to really clear my mind and get myself together so I could really just hear the voice within me, hear the voice of God.
Mm-hmm.
And I was living with my parents in Lincoln Park. And everybody was like, why don't you get a job?
Mm-hmm.
Tamisha called me. She said, I was like, yo, they want me to get a job. But I'm hustling, though. I'm hustling, doing work and everything, and I'm making money. She said, you will be crazy to get a job with your talent. Mm-hmm. So I listened, but it was always on my heart anyway. You know, I've been an entrepreneur for years and so forth. And when we got together, when we first like met up after years, within 30 minutes, we had a business.
Right. I mean,
literally within 30 minutes.
The business name, LT Designs, they did.
Latser Tamisha.
Yeah.
You know.
We put together the logo.
Right.
We had the website. We had clients. Like it literally.
Within like 30 minutes. So just being patient, being silent, and listening to God and humbling ourselves because we're lifelong learners.
Right.
And being humble to me is knowing that you don't know everything.
Right.
And in knowing that I don't know everything, all we do is seek help. All we do is ask questions. But we seek, just like you sought the doctor, we sought the help of the people who was in certain positions and so forth. And when they say a closed mouth doesn't get fed, that's the truth. And we realize
you have not
because you ask not. We spoke about that earlier. And the thing is, a lot of people are waiting for you
just
to ask. They're waiting for you. They want to see if you're willing, if you actually hungry enough to seek. You know, and then followed by the faith without works is dead.
Right.
We stepped out on faith so much, and our steps were literally just ordered. Like everything was just unfolding for us. So.
And you asked a question earlier, and I think you were just really going into the whole thing about, and this is part of the scripture where pretty much our time is not God's time. And so even with that, like sometimes you have to be really willing to put your own wants aside. Leave the car note alone. If you got a car, if you have a car and the wheels still turn and the motor still crank, baby, ride it. Okay. Don't have to go for the biggest and the baddest house. And sometimes you just need to hold on to like where you are and do the bare minimum, have the bare minimum.
And I think that's one of the biggest problems, like with our race, is that we want to floss it first before we make it, and you don't have to do that because people are going to see. We say, "Let your light shine so that men can see your." People gonna see your light if it's bright enough, you know. So you don't have to go out there and get a Jag to say I'm rich. You don't have to get out there and get you a 5-bedroom house and you know you're the only one living there. I mean, if you're able and you're already in that position, I'm not knocking you from doing it, but allow yourself the opportunity to get there. And let me explain to you, it's a difference between being rich and being wealthy.
Yes.
Rich is just for a moment. It's just for a time. I mean, there's scripture that says it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into the gates of heaven. Wealthy is something that's going to be long term. It's something that you can leave back here for generation. It's something that's going to make your life comfortable. And wealth is not always constituted on dollar signs. It is a mindset. It's about your health, your body. It's a wholeness of things. So don't get so caught up with the dollars because I hate to pull from Players Club. Don't let them make you. You make the money. It's just being real.
Yes.
It's just being real.
I tell this story all the time. I've slept in an office. I've slept in a car.
I have too.
For like the first year, I would go to Walmart and buy joggers, and I would dye the joggers back black so they would look fresh.
Right.
We started off making all those deliveries. Now we have about 25 staff members. So the thing is, like,
but we'll still get out there and do
we still get out.
Right.
We still get out to help when it's necessary and so forth.
Right.
But we had to hold back. We delivered food, but for the longest, we wasn't eating out.
Right.
So we had to do what we had to do in order to reinvest back into the company and in order to make it grow.
Let me tell you, my business was not always flourishing. I was not working for 4 and 5 doctors, and we had clients that wanted to use other people besides us, and we lost some major clients. I went into catering for a good number of years, maybe about 2 or 3 years, alongside with doing ultrasounds in order to supplement with the money that I was not making, that had lights turned off. My mama say, it don't matter if your lights off. They don't know whether you're living in the dark. If you sitting there eating bologna sandwiches and peanut butter sandwiches, you handle your business. Right. And that's another thing. Borrowing from people, asking folks to help me to pay my bills. And I'm getting frustrated because my sister told me, she said, if you don't want me in your business, handle your business. That hit hard.
Your sister did that.
My sister told me that. If you don't want me in, because when you go borrowing from folks, they want to know what you do with their money.
Exactly.
When you gonna get it back.
That's a loan, right?
Right, exactly.
Even when it comes to the pandemic, right? We started our delivery business in 2019. Now, we went to all these restaurants. 2019, nobody wanted to partner, right?
Going back to the question you had about what was some of the hardships, this is one.
Nobody wanted to partner. When the pandemic hit,
beating down the block.
The phones were ringing in Atlanta. Hey, are you coming here? Like, we need
more people.
But even here, we had a restaurant that just come to throw. We were sitting in the studio one day, and we keep the doors locked. Nobody even knew we was in there. He came and threw a menu at the door. And
he hit the door and was like, what is that?
And he called and he said, hey, the menu's at the door. Can we be on the... I'm like...
During the pandemic, we took no days off. Yeah. We were the only people on the road.
See what I'm saying?
Let me
tell you about the blessings, right? We were, what you call those companies?
The employees that
essential
workers.
We got the paperwork and everything. They was like, hey,
me
give
too.
This.
Our babies can't wait.
Exactly. They was like, give this to your drivers. We print out the paperwork to our drivers, and for a while we were the only people on the road.
Wow.
It was a beautiful thing. So we was like, the pandemic was part of the combo. So it was a blessing for us.
Right. But that could be a lot of people's different stories, what I'm saying? So just make sure. And again, we're pushing through the pandemic now. Hopefully we don't have to deal with that again. But
quarantine.
Right. But still, you can take a lot of those lessons from it and apply it to even just today.
Right. Well, is there any other things? Because I know we are getting close to the end, and it seems like the time has just gone by so fast. And you all have just been absolutely amazing guests. And I want to thank you all for coming on What's Up Wednesday. So I know that you all have some projects coming up.
Yes. With
the kids going to Six Flags and any other things that you want to share with the people.
Right. So that's one thing about it is when God gives you your blessing, you have to turn around we have to turn around and we have to continue to bless our community because you guys have been there rocking with us since 2019. And there's two areas of the community that's near and dear to our heart. The seniors of the community. So that's why, again, when we deliver to the nursing homes, we probably make a few pennies because we give them so far of a discount, they pretty much just paying for the food and tipping the driver.
Right.
And then the other part to that is our youth, our kids. And with that being said, you know, even the summers that I was away living in other places, my mom made sure that I got down here to go to Six Flags with my cousins. Back then, it was another church that was taking us to Six Flags every July 4th, and I look forward to that. My mom, I don't care if we was in Pensacola, Florida, North Carolina, wherever we were, she made sure I was here on July 4th to get on the bus and go with the kids. And so a few months ago, we found out that that trip was no longer happening. And I'm not sure when it stopped, but that's something that was just so nostalgic, and that's something that was just such a big part of my childhood that I was like, you know what, we got to get it back started. Right. And it only takes, literally, to put the whole trip together, the whole trip is together. We have 3 buses that we're taking. The kids will not only get access to the park for the whole day, but they're also getting all-you-can-eat lunch in a private pavilion that we have reserved. And then also, of course, the bus ride there. So those 3 things, it's $60 a ticket. And what we're doing is we're taking 100 kids. We have about 39 more spots left to go. And I have to have the names turned in by July 9th. So if anybody is interested, if you have children that are between the ages of 12 and 18, that's the age group that we're taking this year, 12 to 18, I need you to comment in the under this video. So comment and leave your name and your email address, or just leave your name in the comment, and I'll send you the link to how to apply, or to how to fill out the form to get there. We're going July 24th. It's a Saturday, and again, like I said, I have about 39 spots. This community, let me tell you, I almost tear up every time I think about it, because the tickets are $60, and it includes the ride, getting into Six Flags, and also the all-you-can-eat lunch. So I was asking around, and most parents was like, you know what, that's affordable. I'll be able to pay that. So I had no intentions of asking the community to donate and sponsor for these kids. That was not even a thing. I literally put on Facebook, all the information about the Six Flags event, or the Six Flags trip, and the fact that I needed 20 volunteers and 20 chaperones. We need 20 chaperones for the 100 kids. And so it literally started with one person. She said, well, I'll donate for a child. And I was like, okay. I'm like, that'd be good, because if somebody can't go, then yeah, we got some, thank you. And then it just started from there. People were like, I'll donate. They're tagging, hey, class of 2000, I need you to donate. And it just went on from there. And I was like, well, look at God. Yeah. Again, we did not ask. We wasn't asking for money for anybody. We were just gonna have everybody pay for their own and keep it moving. And like I said, the vision, we were there, and we heard the vision, and God is showing up and showing out. And thank you so much for the community. We have a majority of the kids already sponsored. We do have some more people that need to be sponsored. So if anybody would like to continue to sponsor, because right now the goal is to just have all the kids be able to go for free. That would just be a blessing. Like I said, we're taking 100, have 39 spots left. So please, we want to make sure that we get 100 kids. This should be an easy thing. But it's funny, because it seems like the getting the sponsors was the easiest thing. Now it's trying to find the kids. So we have until July 9th to get the names of the kids that are going. So please comment below. Just comment you want in, and I'll just go back through tonight and send you the link to sign up, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. So we appreciate it. Thank you so much for allowing us to be on this platform and sharing our story. And look, we just said that our heart goes out to the seniors and the youth. If you are a young adult, a young child who, I don't care how old you are interested in starting your business, reach out to us. We'll put our contact information on this video. Reach out to us, because you need to ask us these questions to get started. You don't have to wait until you're in college and graduated high school. Get started today. If you have a vision, Or if you just know that, you know what, I don't want to work for nobody. I don't want to go to college. I want to work for myself, and I don't know where to start. I don't know what I'm good at. Reach out to us. I would love to talk to
you. Anything else, Mr. Carter?
The same. Business is my passion. So that's how we give back to our community. And it's always been like that. So when it comes to business, we like to consult with people. So consult with us. And a lot of times when people start business, they don't know where to spend their money on. They don't know. A lot of times people lose money, i.e., if you buy 1,000 business cards, but you don't have an established phone number, that phone number changes. Now those business cards are irrelevant. Iron sharpens iron. So
our mistakes, learn from them.
Learn from our mistakes, exactly. And just come to us or come to somebody, but make sure that you seek some type of professional assistance. We do free consultations. So, we're not trying to make money out of people. Our goal is to help people get started and get going. And if we cannot help you, we'll point you into the right direction.
Right.
So don't be afraid to ask. And the one thing I always tell people, if you have a talent, do not keep your mouth closed.
Right.
Let people know. Let your talent shine, and you will be surprised who will come out the woodworks to help you.
Right. All right. Oh, wow. I am just elated over this segment. Write the vision. Make it plain. What is your vision? Look, let me tell you. If you keep God first in everything you do, He will order your steps. He will take you through each and every point that you need to make in order to get the goal that you are trying to see. The scripture says to write the vision and make it plain upon tablets, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it may tarry, it may take some time. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Look, if you want to start a business, one thing I want you to do is have accountability. Be a person of your word, because your business speaks for who you are as a person. And if people can't reach you, if people can't get to you, how do you expect for your business to manifest and grow? Statues are just that. They are stagnant. They stay right where you put them. But if you are a movement for God, that means that you are in motion. You are going out and you are putting forth the effort to make everything it is that God has poured into you come out. Let me explain to you. It's not going to be easy. Anything that's worth having is worth working for. If you're faithful over the few things, God will make you ruler over many. Take the time to get closer to Him, to learn to meditate. Let me tell you, come to Stonewell. Come to a church that is Bible based. You don't have to necessarily be a member here. Seek out somebody that is giving you instruction, because when you seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, everything else is going to be added to you. This is your opportunity. This is your moment and your time. Like I always tell you, I can't take you in, but I will surely take you and your child over to the pastor so he can receive you in. If you have lost the will, if you have not been in the safety of his arms and you want to reconnect, hit reconnect. If you don't know who God is and you want an opportunity to learn about who He is and want to come in and be saved, hit save. If you want to become a member, you want to come here and you want to do the work here under the banner of Stonewell, then hit disciple. We have a place for you here. Not just for you, but we have a place for children. Children have a voice in our church. They sing, they praise dance, they can work on any and every ministry that's available here. Also, if you are a member somewhere else, your church may not be back in the movement, or you but you want to come here and work at Stonewell, you can come under our watch care, meaning that you can continue to keep your membership here, but you can go to work here at Stonewell. I'm sure Pastor Duma would love to bring you in. So just look at all of those opportunities it is to get a step closer to what it is, to your vision, to be able to have that moment with God so that He can listen to your plea to Him, and He will listen to you and give you what it is that you need. We want to thank you for tuning in to What's Up Wednesday. We want to thank the Car House creators, Miss Tamisha Weaver and Miss Alexa Carter, for coming and sharing with us today. I know we went a little bit over time, but since we're talking about businesses, I do not want to end without telling you about our behind-the-scenes person, Miss Brittany Sherman. She is one heck of a person on the media ministry, and she has really manifested. She has her own consulting with putting us out there so that we can be seen in all avenues from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Be Sure Media is who she is. If you need her business, if you want to reach out to her, hit the Stonewell Nation, hit Brittany Sherman's inbox, and we are here to help you. Again, What's Up Wednesdays at the Well? This is our virtual vacation Bible school. What is your vision? Write it down, make it plain. This is What's Up Wednesday. I'm Miss Jen. I'm here representing Pastor Duma, Stonewell Nation, Stonewell Network. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night.